everybody, and welcome to Toffee Bluecast. It was only last night that I said to Paul, we will be going live at some point because we will find out about the point deduction. And today, here we are. Get involved in the comments. We want to know how you feel. It'll be a half-hour stream. We've got Paul Caswell coming on, and we have got Rob coming on as well to tell us how they feel. And we just want your comments. Get involved. Get it on the screen. And I'm interested. I'm seeing mixed signals on the Toffee Bluecast Twitter. How are you feeling, Paul? Let's start with you. How are you feeling after this 4 points?
Funnily enough, I feel a bit flat about it. To be truthful, I do. Yeah, I do, because I still believe that I still believe we've been shafted by Premier League. I think I think still, if they'd come up, even if they'd come up with 8 points originally, they still got that from thin air, and this 4-point deduction is again from thin air. There's no initial agreement about it. So yes, I'm happy about getting points back, but there's lots of reasons why I'm not happy in terms of the amount of points that have been given back. To be honest, I think we've got a long way to go with it as well. I really do. I'm sort of worry about that moving forward. So I'm not flattening anyone's kind of excitement about it. I'm glad that we've got 4 points back, but I don't think we should have had any points back. Yeah, any points taken off us, to be honest.
This is why I want to go live now, because it's going to be interesting, because a lot of people think different. Of course we do. It's a big subject. Caswell, how are you feeling, mate, on this?
I'm glad we've got something back. Gutted I won't be at the West Ham game now on Saturday, because I think it'll just ease that pressure with 5 points clear. Goal distance is good. Brentford are now in the mix, and I think we'll see a better team. However, totally agree with Foz. Yeah, it's great. We've got 4 points back. But it'd be interesting to see where they deem what we've done to be a 6-point deduction breach. So, whereas people in the past, Leicester, Liverpool, have all had fines for breach of financial fair play or whatever it used to be called. So this is the first time it's been a point deduction. So does that mean Forest are going to get 6 points? Is it 6 points per breach? Because they've even admitted we didn't act unfairly or even try and deceive the Premier League. They've disproven them facts that the Premier League said that we tried to hide stuff from them. So it's just been a farce, hasn't it?
No,
it continues to be one, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not focused on this league. I'm a bit different. I'm thinking I'm really happy because for me, it wouldn't have surprised me if there was to keep the 10 points and add more. So I was a little worried whether we went and took them to the courts and actually come back that they won. We still get the 10 points and we possibly get another 5 or 10 points later on. So I think it's a reassurance for me because we've got 4 back, so it's ended up being a 6-point deduction. The worst case scenario though, Caswell, I think, is that this second one it could be 12, but this second one's a lot lighter, so I don't think it could be 12. So in my head now, I know we're at least dealing with, even if we got added 4 for this next one, we're at least dealing with 10. Which I still believe we can stay up. But I don't think we'll get nothing for the next one for the fact that we have had 4 points given back. We was always going to get something because we admitted stuff for me. That's the thing. I think when you say you're guilty of a crime, they've got to give you something. So in my head, I think I said on a few of the things, if we got 6 back, that would be the maximum I expect, and I'd be really happy with 6. So 4 for me is like, you know what? I'll take it. Because, as you see, I mean, I'll put it up now. I know you shouldn't just be happy with anything because you were entitled to get, like Paul said, and yourself, more back. But when the Premier League are proper shitbags this season, they could give us nothing. And like I say, they've gave us 4, and it makes a big difference, doesn't it, from where we was in the league? I mean, you look at that now. Straight away, I looked at the league table when the news come out. you're one win away from being in that 13th, 14th position and proper getting away from this trouble. So it does make me feel good to see the 4 points on there that we might not have got. It's a win and a draw, isn't it? So I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm happy with. Hey Dan, listen, I'm happy that we've got something back, but like Paul said, there's no justification for why we've got any deduction. Really, no one previously has had a deduction for breaching the rules. It's always been a fine. But pressure's on Luton now. It'll be interesting to see. They went on that 4-5 game where they won 4 and drew 1, and then they've petered off. But it just drags a couple more into it, and they've got to go into a game with a bit of nerves, aren't we? I just be interested to see how we play against West Ham. And really, I think we go on a bit of a. I've said it's coming, and I think now we go on. Even though we've got United and Liverpool, I think we go like 4 wins and 2 draws or something like that.
it does take a bit of weight off our shoulders. Paul, you said that you're Foz, you said that you're worried that more to come. Like this could just be the start, and the next breach could be something, and it could be worrying times.
Well, I mean, like I say, the 6 points, but no, they've taken 4 points off us, but they've not told us why it was 4 points. So again, they're still pulled whatever they want out of the bag, and it's kind of the old Tory trick, if you like. You know, we're going to take 200 million away from the education budget, and then everyone's in uproar. But then 6 months later, they give you 100 million back, and it's like, oh, thanks. Oh, you've really done us a big favor there. So it almost feels like they overcompensated by taking 10 points away from us, and now they give us 4 points back. We're meant to be grateful about it. And I just think it's kind of an old political trick about keeping people happy. But the problem is now is that if what we did equals 6 points, how many points is the next breach going to be? Do you know what I mean? And it's still all up in the air. It's still, they can do whatever they want. And the problem with this next one that comes up, and Forest are feeling the same way, is that by the time that charge goes through and they say whatever the punishment is, and then we throw in an appeal, we might not actually find out what the punishment is until after the season. It could be April and May. It could be in that area. We could literally find out that we stay up by winning in the last few games, and then a couple of days after we play Arsenal last day, we could find out, oh shit, we're down. Why are we down? Oh well, we said it was 6 points, so now it's another 6 points. Do you know what I mean? And we're still in the area of we're at their whim. Do you know what I mean? Whatever they suddenly decide they fancy doing, we're still like helpless for it. We haven't got any further clarity about this breach and the points that we should have had taken off. They've still got control of the whole situation, and come this second breach or whatever, they can still decide randomly how many points they want. You know, we might be as we are now at the end of the season, 5 points away from relegation zone, and 3 days after, our appeal against the 6 points that we should have again, we lose that appeal and we're down by a point. That we're literally like that, and they can do whatever they want. That's what really concerns me, to be honest.
Do you know? I don't know if you. I mean, I chuck everything on this because I want to hit what people are thinking, and I think a lot of dopey stuff. So I get to simple questions. We spoke last time when we first got this, saying that a lot of the charges on the second one kind of go with the first one. So if we've kind of got away with the first one, does that mean that it might this second one might be nothing? Does that mean that we might get nothing? Then I did hear the bench from the Bullens. He was saying that they can't do 2 things in one season or something like that.
No. You can't get penalised for charges over the same time period. Can't do it.
That's what I'm saying. So there is that as well, that you might not be able to. I get what you're saying. You do want that feeling after this where, right, we know what we're dealing with. Let's just crack on and fight against it. And you've still got something hanging over your shoulder that might be another charge or breach. So you do want to know
I'd be
what
more
it is.
worried if it was Forest, especially with the form they're in. I think now that they know that there is a points breach, I think they're more likely to go down than us. I think this definitely eases the pressure. Like I say, I'm happy I got Summit, but I'm still unhappy that anything's gone because it shouldn't have been. And it's not a club fine anyway. Because if it was a club points deduction, it'd be 3 points for the first team, 3 points for the women's team, and 3 points for the academy team or the under 21s, and 1 point for.
That's what I meant to have said. That was a word in my head. Sorry to jump over you. I am getting the comments on the screen as well. We are, by the way, if you comment on Twitter, they do come up. So there's a comment on Twitter, they do come up. So I want as many Everton fans to comment now. I want to find out what you feel. A platform to say how you feel after this 4 points back. They need to tell us whether the double jeopardy, that's the word, comes into play. We just don't know, do we? I mean, I've seen the Esk say it might not. Then I've seen someone else say it might. And we don't know. I don't know whether it does come into play. And if you do know, then straight away we know whether they can do something this season or they can't. But do you know, Paul? Do you know, Caswell?
No, the thing is at the moment is that I've just read what the statement is and things like that. There's another document that goes on which apparently outlines things, you know, the reasons for decisions, but at the moment I'm not too sure what that is.
The two charges that Paulson has just commented there. Keep your comments coming in, people. And if you haven't liked and subscribed on the channel, do so, because we're always here for you before and after games and on big news like this. The two charges are for two different periods, I thought. I think they are for two different periods, but I think some of them, like, I don't know. It's a hard one, isn't it? Rob says he'll be on shortly. Lucy Jenkins then said on to that, they crossed over potentially 1 year. So the charges might have crossed it. This is the thing. We just, as fans, we don't know, do we? And we've all read into it, but there isn't information there where you can actually know, is there? Like,
I think the thing that's brought up a lot of questions is the fact that they've withheld information from minutes as well.
Yeah.
From meetings. So they're saying that they're being fair and transparent. And all that they keep saying is, like, I know we go on about City and stuff, but Forest are equally victim to it with the City thing. Everyone says, why is City taking so long? So it's a different type of charges, but no one says what they are. No one says why it's different. If you came out and said it's different because of A, B, C, and D, Everton have done this, 1, 2, and 3. City have done this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Forest have done these ones. So all three won't be getting heard at the same time because of these reasons. And you'd be like, all right, now I get it. Whether you agree with it or not, at least there's an answer. But yeah,
I get Paul Foster's point though. It does seem like they make you feel like dog shit, right? We're at the bottom of the league, we're fighting, and we're very desperate where we'd literally take anything. And it seems that where we would, if it was mid-table, we'd want everything back. But because we're in such a desperate situation, the fact when you get those 4 points, it seems like the world, doesn't it? Takes you up to 15th. And there's so much that it helps. You just, part of you is like this comment here that Paul has come in and he's just said, let's go for it, Everton. Get back to the 6 points and let's just crack on. It does give you that sort of attitude now where you just, I can't be arsed with this. I really can't be arsed with this season, and I just want to, and I've been waiting for this news. I'd like both things to be rounded off, where the first one and the second trial that we're going through has both come in. We know what we're on. We know nothing's going to get taken off us, and we could just crack on with this season. Because I'd like to think, though, it has given me that's the problem. Think is the word. I'd like to think that with us, the first one was the big one. This second one in the comments there, so essentially it might be 2 points. I'd like to think that we have dealt with the big one now, and the second one isn't that big. It's just a little. I don't know. Do you think by reading on social media and stuff like I got the feeling that Everton are happy with what the outcome?
I think the thing is though, had this been previous seasons, we'd have prayed for them 10 points back. It's only because, irrespective of what people say about the form, we've still picked up points. And one thing when Dyche came in last year, when we were drawing at Leicester and Wolves and stuff like that, I'm just picking up points here and there. It makes a massive. You just slowly chip away and slowly creep up that league, even just 1 point at a time. And I think we're accepting it more because of the position we're in, because we had the 10-point deduction and we were still out the relegation zone. This 4 points give us that breather.
Yeah, it's coming at the perfect time as well.
If it was under Lampard this time last year or 13 months ago, we'd have still been 4 points adrift. Or
can I throw a couple of statements on then from today?
Go for it.
All right. So I'll go to the Premier League one, and people may have read this or you may not know. So basically, it follows independent appeal board concluded that the sanction of Everton's breach for period ending season 21-22 will be an immediate 6-point deduction. Right. So it follows the appeal that we had a 10-point, then it goes to 6 point. It also says as well, Everton appealed the sanction imposed on it against it on 9 grounds, each of which related to the sanction rather than the fact of breach, which the club admitted. So we admitted that we breached it. However, on 9 different grounds, we said this is why it's happened, and the 10 points wasn't fair. 2 of those 9 grounds were upheld by the appeal board. So whichever of the 9 reasons we said that's why we've gone over and it's not our fault, 2 of them were upheld. So that's why it's changed the 10 for the 6. So if it's only 2 of those 9 reasons, is that why we've lost? We've gained back 4 points. At the moment, there's no clear definitive reason why. He said this revised sanction has immediate effect and the table's updated, right? When I heard it first, I did wonder what our statement would be like, because I mean, the club obviously know more than we do from the outside, but they seem quite all right with it. Sorry, it's quite small here, but they said about the 10 points going to 6. Club still digesting the appeal decision. We're satisfied with our appeal has resulted in a reduction, so we're happy to get points back. We understand the appeal board considered the 10-point deduction originally imposed to be inappropriate when assessed against the available benchmarks of which the club made the commission aware. So basically saying, you didn't say in the first place what it would be, so give us some points back, which they have. Including the position under the relevant EFL regulations and the 9-point deduction that is imposed under Premier League's own rules in the event of insolvency. So basically, clubs in the past have got 9 points and things like that. Why have we suddenly got 10? So, they've gone back on that, which is what we wanted to happen. The club is also particularly pleased with the appeal board's decision to overturn the original commission's finding that the club failed to act in the utmost good faith. So the main thing from this statement, which seems the club are happy with, is that the original commission said that we were taking the piss and basically we were not doing what we were told, when we have been doing what we've been told, especially after we've admitted the breach. But they said we hadn't. So the club seem happy that that's been overturned. In the end, that means sod all, I would have said. It was an incredibly important point of principle for the club on appeal. The club therefore feels vindicated in pursuing its appeal. So we were right to do so. Notwithstanding the appeal board's decision and the positive outcome, the club remains fully committed to cooperating with the Premier League in respect of the ongoing proceedings brought for the accounting period ending in June 2023. That is the other one that is coming our way, in whatever way it comes. The club is still considering wider implications of the decision. Make no further comment other than to place on record thanks to the FAB and all the fans group and everyone for doing what they can. And I'd say Andy Burnham as well, thanked a lot of people who aren't Evertonians, politicians and the like, that have stood by us as well, which has been good. So Everton seem happy, Premier League seem happy. I just don't trust them as far as I could bloody throw them, to be honest. So I'm still very wary. I'm still very wary.
That's a comment on to what you've just been reading out there. Paul putting all the stuff on the screen just in case you didn't get to read it, putting out the main stuff. And so basically you're saying that it sounds like we could get another 6 points. When you read that out, it does sound like they are more stuff could be coming, doesn't it? We have got with us Rob. We'll let you have your little say. We'll keep this to half an hour. Paul's just read some of the statements out on that. He was saying that he still feels worried that more could come from reading some of that because they ain't backing down with some of the stuff, if you know what I mean. There are some of the statements where they are saying we have done wrong. So does it mean
was this the 64-page article, Paul?
This was the very brief summary at the very beginning and the statement from both the Premier League and the club.
Yeah. I read 64 pages earlier. Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. Because
you're no better than me then. Go on.
Well, I don't, and I don't think anybody does. You know what I mean? I would never pretend to come on and think I know what I'm talking about because I don't. But obviously, I've missed most of the stream. I was listening to a little bit of it in the car, so I don't know what your lads' thoughts are. Whether you are happy, whether you are sad, whether you think it's fair. What's the general view amongst the team here? Are we happy, not happy? Do we think it's more or less what we expected, or
happy we've got something, but still feel we should have got the whole lot?
Yeah, I'm not. The more I think about it, the less happy I am.
I'm happy for the players because you can go into the West Ham game with that pressure off now. A little bit lighter on the shoulders, and you might see a real good game. Probably, I'm going to go 3-0 for us on West Ham.
Well, to be fair, it feels like we was just saying, Rob, that it feels like we are desperate, so it was kind of going to be happy with anything, weren't we? I mean, some of us feared that it was going to get nothing. So I think to get 4 points back on a league table where 4 points take you from being on the bottom line of being in the bottom three to 15th, looking like one win could take you 16th, 17th. Well, take you higher, for 14th, 13th, maybe even some people joking, compete for Europa League. But 4 points does make a big difference thanks to us actually playing decent. I know some won't admit it, but it makes you realise us sticking in there, picking up some of these draws, when you get the 4 points added to it, puts us in a nice position where we might actually be able to relax next game. But that's me kind of desperate. Paul saying like Dyche said, it's kind of, it doesn't even deserve an on-field sanction and stuff like that, does it? And they ain't even give us any good reasons to give us not the whole 10 points back. Should we get the whole 10 points back? I don't know. I don't know how I feel. It's mixed emotion, but I am happy that we've got those points back because I do believe that the 4 points can massively help to keep us up. I think with those 4 points, we can get ourselves safe now and not be in a relegation battle, and that's what I think. But does that mean that this is okay with what they've done? Should we have got all 10 back and be even safer? I don't know. I'm desperate. What's your thoughts, Rob?
You see, this is the problem, right? When it first came out, I was kind of happy, and then I spent all day reading about it and listening to various different podcasts and live streams and things like that. So basically, the guy who was representing Everton seems to have done a pretty decent job. I think out of the 9 points he argued, they only upheld 2 of them. And one of the things they pointed out was that basically Everton lied, essentially. They didn't go into it being honest. If they'd have been honest, maybe that would have gone in our favour. It looks like they kind of slapped us on the head for that. We tried to tell them something that wasn't true in relation to the stadium payments. I'm reasonably happy because the first thing that jumped out to me was they disregarded the initial charge where they found us not to have acted in good faith. They've basically said they think we did act in good faith. And that makes me think that we're going to be fine in relation to a second charge. I think we've been done for this. We have to lick our wounds, accept our punishment. That's the end of it. I think it's bad news for Forest. I think if they're saying that 9 is the max you will ever get. So basically, you can't go as bad as if the club went bush to get 9 points. So the max they're going to give you is 8. What's not clear at the moment is if it's 8 full stop or if it's 8 per charge. So a lot of people were saying earlier, well, if it's 8 points, why not just go and spend 300 million and take your 8-point charge? Like, is it 8 for Everton, 8 for Forest, 8 for City? I think that needs to be cleared up. I don't think they've been very clear about that. Surprise to anybody. If it's 8 per charge, you can expect Forest to get 8 points. You can expect that straight away. They're getting 8 points.
Yeah, but I'm just going to ask you a question because you know more than me. But if it's 8 points is the maximum, how come they give us 10? If that is the rules.
Well, this is what they found. So if you read the commission's findings, they've said that the initial 10 is no go. They've said they should have never been given 10. So this is why they've worked it back. So what a lot of people are struggling with, if we had 9 points that we raised and we were found to have had 2 of them upheld, people are trying to do a mathematical equation where they say, right, well, Everton got 10 points. They were found on 9 charges, but 9 points. 7 of them were waved away, 2 were upheld. And they're trying to say, so was that 1.2 points per point? You know what I'm getting at. Essentially what they've said is, look, the 10 is nonsense. It's a no-go. Nobody's ever getting a 10-point charge for financial penalty again, because 9 is the max you can get for going bust or into financial peril. Why not just do that? 8 is now going to be the cut-off point. We've had 2 removed from that. Whether you're happy with that, whether you're not, that's what we got. You can now guarantee Forest to get an 8. That's just what's going to happen. The big question is whether it's 8 per charge. If it's 8 per charge, you can expect Man City to get 8 by 115 or 8 by whatever they cop to. Whether they walk in with 115 and they get 40 wiped off straight away. This is where it's not clear. The 10 is nonsense. I think we all knew it was nonsense from day one. But having read it and having driven myself demented reading it, this is where we are at the moment. They basically came in and said, this 10 points you've given Everton is not appropriate for what they've been found guilty of. They've decided 6 is a much more reasonable punishment. I'm not sure I agree with that. I'm not sure anybody will agree with that, but that's what they've come with. I, oddly enough, though, don't think there'll be a second charge. That's where I'm happier about. I'm not happy about getting a 6-point penalty. I'm happy about the fact I don't think we're going to get another one. So if you say to me, you get 6 now, that's the end of it. But Forest to get an 8 in 2 weeks' time or 3 weeks' time or 4 weeks' time, I think we're absolutely fine. What are we, 5 above Luton now, are we?
Yeah.
Got the league table there. Look, it looks a lot more healthier now.
So we're 5 above Luton. I think we're 1 above Forest. So if Forest get 8, they should drop to 19th position, I think. Let's have a look. Forest on 24. So they're going to go down to 16 points. Everton have 25 points.
Ours is the best goal difference of any team up to 13th as well. So one
point 10. I think we've 10 better goal difference than Luton as well. Look, at the end of the day, we have to be better than 3 other teams. If you assume Sheffield United and Burnley are already gone, it's about being better than Luton and better than Forest. Forest are going to get a point deduction. That's just what's going to happen.
I'm not even. I know this is crazy, and you know I'm Mr. Positive, so this is just typical me. But I'm actually not looking below us. I'm looking now that if we win our next game, Bournemouth and Crystal Palace, we've got some of these teams to play. We've got some good fixtures. Some of the, I hate to say it, but weaker teams and stuff like that. We win our next game, and Bournemouth and Crystal Palace don't. Puts us on 28 points level with them, and we played Crystal Palace. We played awful. They're not that good either. And Bournemouth, they're doing a little bit better, but I honestly do believe we can crack on after this. I'm looking higher and thinking, like, if we're sitting on 28 points and we're unbeaten in our last 5 of 7 games, and we haven't even been playing well, and we've got some nice fixtures coming up after these hard 3 games coming up, which I still think we'll play well in West Ham, Man U, and the derby. But I honestly do think that we can crack on now. It might just give us this freedom where we've been putting pressure on ourselves that we have to win, otherwise we're in the bottom 3. This might give us a bit of freedom where we can have that 4 on the bounce before we actually got the 10-point deduction. That's just how I'm feeling.
If you look at that there, like Luton Town have 20 points after 25 games. So they're averaging 10 points every 12 games or 12.5 games. There's only 13 matches left. So they're projected to get 30 points this season. We're 5 away from that now. Essentially what you're saying is we get another 6 or 7 points, we're safe. Now, they haven't given us enough points back to go on a European charge. It's probably mid-table sitting there floating around, but I think we're going to be absolutely fine. And you know what? Look, I know it took longer than we all wanted, but it's done now, you know what I mean? And at least it didn't go into April and we're sitting there going, we don't know where we are. It's put the pressure right back on Luton. There's no doubt that Luton had a little resurgence when we got a 10-point deduction. Luton were dead and buried. They were dead and buried, and we got a 10-point deduction, and they put a little run together. This is going to be a kick in the teeth for them. And if I'm Forest, I'm incredibly worried. If Everton essentially got a 6-point deduction for 19.5 million, what I've heard from Forest fans is that they expect their loss to be
I've seen
3 times that.
like that. I've seen people say
they expect their losses to be 3 times Everton's amount. So if we got 6. Now the problem is what it goes back to is it per charge. How many charges the Forest have? Is it 1 charge? I think it's 1 charge.
Yeah,
which means the max. Which means the max they can get is 8. And this is where the problem comes. If Forest have a 200 million spend and we have a 19 million spend, they can only get docked 2 points more than us, and that's not right.
It doesn't make sense though. Like you just said though.
Come up with.
Right. First of all, the Premier League have come out now, so we've took them. We would have got 10 points, by the way, if we actually didn't take it to court. Right. If we didn't put the appeal in, we would have got 10 points. So that itself is really bad on the Premier League. Right. So we put the appeal in, and then it's come out when we've gone. The most that they can give is 8 points. I thought they'd be like putting their hands up and saying, you know what, we've mistreated you. We're going to give you all your points back, because they've just admitted that they got it completely wrong. Why are they allowed to get things wrong and then we have to get things right? It's a joke. And the other thing is as well, like you've just said, if the most you can get is 8, we've been working with the Premier League, selling Richarlison, selling Gordon, selling Iwobi, not spending no money, not bringing players in, making ourselves a lot weaker this season than what we could have been. We could have just literally spent a lot of money, like you said, of money and only got 8 points anyway.
But I do believe that was one of the reasons that we got one of the points back was due to the fact that year over year, the accounts have got healthier. So there's the whole Richarlison situation where we sold him for maybe 10 or 15 million less than we should have sold him maybe, 2 months before. Whereas they had the Brennan Johnson situation where they didn't sell him. They purposely held on to sell him for more. So that's not a mitigating factor for Forest. That was a mitigating factor for Everton. They could say, look, we lost out on 20 million because we sold this lad because you told us we had to. The Premier League told them too they had to sell, and they said no. So that argument's out the window for them. And that was one of the things they took into account where they said, well, actually, we did say that, and actually, you did do that. So fair enough. Forest can't use that.
Just drop in some of the comments because we will end this on 40, by the way. We won't. I mean, we have got a lot of our reaction on. Sometimes it still don't know. What about the second charge? I mean, you touched on that, didn't you, Rob? You said it makes you feel a little bit better on this now for the second charge that we might get nothing.
Yep. I mean, look, at the end of the day, none of us know, but it's just... look, you have to read it. And I know nobody wants to read it. I think it's 64 pages long or something like that. But when you look at it, you do realise that, look, Everton admitted guilt. They admitted guilt. They said we did it. We were always going to get something. That at the end of the day, it's like going into court and saying guilty. You're getting something, whether it be a fine or a point. It's happening. So we said we were guilty. The next thing was mitigating factors to say why we're guilty. We've done that. 7 out of the 9 were accepted. 2 of them weren't. One of them was in relation to the fact that they said we basically, in English terms, they said we lied to them about stadium repayments. Now, I don't know what that looks like. I don't know whether there's accounts or balance sheets or something. We've obviously inflated something somewhere, and they've looked and said, that's not right. We're not accepting that. But the other things we've done, they have accepted. We did sell Richarlison for less than we should have sold him for. Between 20, 21, 22, 23, we did spend less each year. We did get our transfers approved by the Premier League. All these things were taken into account. The initial 10-point penalty was proven to be way over the top. So how can you give somebody 10 points when it's 9 for administration? So, look, we were never going to get 10 back because we told them we were guilty.
I just seen the comment there that saying I was thought that it was going to get 10 back and stuff. Probably maybe just because the only reason I thought we might get 10 back is because they were scared that they got it that wrong, that we got more back than what we should. I think
but
if we
even
got
if they
10, I would have
did,
thought,
even if they did, Dan, even if they got it wrong, we told them we were guilty. They had to give us something. You know what I mean? Whether their 10 was pie in the sky, whether it should have only been 5, we were going to get something because we told them we were guilty. We probably should have done what Man City said. We didn't do anything wrong. Tied them up in knots for years and years and years and years. But when you hold your hands up day one and say, yeah, sorry, you caught us, you're right, we did that, apologies. We were going to
I remember the Blues saying, he's in the comments now, the Blues was saying, you're not going to get no more back than 5. They have to give you 5 at least. Because they can't, like you've just said, you've admitted stuff. You're not going to get 10 back. It's just not possible. The Blues said that a long time ago, and that's why I said I wanted. Right, let's see what we're coming to an end now. Paul, how many points? Be honest, everyone. Like, be honest in the comments as well. Be honest. How many points did you think he was going to get back? Put it in the comments. I know some have already put, but we'll ask us on the show, and we'll ask you in the comments. How many did you think? And then compared to how many we got. Right, I'll start with you, Paul. How many did you think, Paul Foster?
I didn't think we'd get any back. I'd be happy and justified if we got 8 back, to be honest. So 2 ends of the scale.
So really, you should be really happy, but because their statement that they put out is so crap, it's made you think, you know what, they're taking the rip a little bit.
Well, no, we only got 4 back. I wanted double that.
Oh, did you?
I wanted double that. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I got it the wrong way around. I
thought we should have had double that back, to be honest. I didn't expect us to get any back. And there still would have been uproar and we still would have been shafted.
Yeah.
But I still feel as though it's short on basically what we should have got back.
So Paul wanted 8. I got that wrong. Sorry. Right, Caswell, how many points did you think we would get back?
Thought we were going to get 6 back and still have a 4-point deduction. Personally, I thought it'd have been for one charge, but I thought to save face, they'd have given us 6 back at least.
Yeah, well, I'll drop mine now because mine's the same. I generally, as I said earlier on, I did think we'd get 6 back. But I had the Blues in my head thinking him saying we're going to get the 5. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to push it one more than 5 and just get 2 wins, 6 points. But that's what I thought. How many did you think, Rob? I know you looked into it a lot more. How many did you think we'd actually get back?
Initially, I thought none. At the start, I thought none. Wasn't, you lads see me on the group chat. Was not optimistic. I thought none at all. Having read the document, I'm now more confused than ever because, as I said to you, we got there were 7 grounds, and we were only upheld on 2 of them. So if you divide, and they said 8 points is the maximum you can get. So if you divide 8 by 9 and then multiply it by 7, that's 6.2, which means we probably should have got 6 points back. So, for as well as that document is, it doesn't actually tell you how they came to the calculation they came to, which is the part I'm really struggling with. I didn't think we'd get any. We got 4 back. Doesn't really make sense how we got 4. But look, if we get 4 back and we get no other charges, I'll take it. Fine.
That's what it is going to be. It is going to be just waiting to see what these other charges are, and we are waiting to find out whether these new owners are going to get done, or apparently there's more owners. So what we are going to do, we're going to end this now because we said we'll do 30 minutes. We've done 40. There's always so much to talk about, but we will do a take 2 on this. We'll do the Diamond Dogs come on the show again. We've still got the second charge to talk about, so we'll be back on that. Don't worry. And we've still got the owners, which will probably go live with 7-7 partners. Will they get it? Or is this new billionaire legit that people are talking about? I don't know. There's so much to talk about with Everton. We don't want stuff to talk about, by the way. We just want to freaking relax and talk about the performances. But unfortunately, Everton have got our heads absolutely frigging frying this season. We all think we're owners of the football club. We've had to look into it and stuff like that. So I am going to drop the banner now, everybody. Thanks for all coming on, sharing your thoughts on that. That's our thoughts. We've told you what we think, and we have put on the screen what you think as well. Up the top is everyone.
See you later, guys.
We've got a few points back. It's made me feel a bit better. Rob thinks we might be all right on the second charges. Paul wanted his 10 points back. Caswell's happy. He wanted 6, so 4's not bad. I wanted 6, 4's not bad. Up the top is everyone. Everton, aren't we? Friggin' hell. What a crazy game.